Hello dear students. So today again I'm here with the last third part of your chapter number 5, that is transpiration, and I hope you all might have gone through the first two parts, and those who have not seen yet, I'm giving the link in the description box. Please go through, otherwise you won't be able to understand this third part. So let's get started. So today we are going to be talking about the factors affecting rate of transpiration plus significance of transpiration and some of the other similar processes occurring in the plant body. So firstly we'll talk about the factors affecting rate of transpiration. So if you recall from the previous session, we have discussed that the differences between the evaporation and transpiration, that transpiration is both physiological and physical process, means it will be affected by both external factor and internal factor. So here are these external and internal factors which will affect the rate of transpiration. In external factors means the environmental factors, light intensity, temperature, wind velocity, humidity, atmospheric pressure and the carbon dioxide concentration in the atmosphere will come. And in the internal factors, the water content of the body, leaf area, number of leaves and number of stomatas and the thickness of cuticle over the leaf will come. So we will discuss all these factors in detail one by one. Let's start with the external factor. Now the first is light. So in the strong intensity of light, the plant will perform photosynthesis, and even the guard cells in the epidermis, they will also perform photosynthesis. And we have already discussed about the sugar concentration theory, that in presence of strong sunlight, the guard cells will perform photosynthesis, and as a result, the sugar molecules will get accumulated in the sap of guard cells. They will become more concentrated, and as per the principle of osmosis, now the water molecules will move inside, the cells will become turgid, and it will result in opening of stomatas. So in strong sunlight, the stomatas will be open. So we can say that the rate of transpiration is directly proportional to the rate of light intensity. Means stronger the light intensity, maximum will be the rate of transpiration. And in darkness at night, the transpiration will be stopped, because at that time the stomatas will remain closed. Okay. Now the next is temperature. High temperature will leads to increase in the latent heat of vaporization, and that warm heated air, it will leads to evaporation of water more from the outer surface of the leaf. So we can say that higher the temperature leads to increase in the rate of transpiration. Thus we can say that both light and temperature, they both are directly proportional to the rate of transpiration, and with the increase of both, the transpiration rate will increase. Now the next factor is wind velocity. When the wind is blowing with high velocity, then this moving air will sweeps the water vapor outside the surface of stomata, and which will definitely speed up the rate of transpiration. As we all know that in high windy conditions, even our clothes will also get dry very fast due to evaporation of water from them. And the next factor is humidity. What is humidity? That is the amount of water or water vapor in air at a particular time and temperature, and this humidity is inversely proportional to the rate of transpiration. Why? Now suppose there is a rainy day and air is already laden with a lot of water vapor, then why it will tend to take more water vapor from plants through transpiration? Because then the principle of osmosis equilibrium will not be attended. That's why the higher the humidity in the air, lower will be the rate of transpiration. So here the humidity is inversely proportional to the rate of transpiration. Now let's understand this again here, that in rainy season, when the humidity in the air already increased, then the air will get saturated with the water vapor. In that condition, the rate of transpiration will decrease. And in the windy season, when the air will sweep away the water vapor outside the stomata, then it will leads to increase in the rate of transpiration. Now the next factor is atmospheric pressure. What is atmospheric pressure? It is the pressure against any surface by the weight of the air above it. So when that atmospheric pressure will decrease, the diffusion of water vapor from the stomata will increase. So we can say it is also inversely proportional to the rate of transpiration. Next factor is carbon dioxide concentration. When the carbon dioxide concentration in the atmosphere is up to 0.03%, it is good for plant. But if it will exceed that value, then the stomatas will get closed and it will reduce the rate of transpiration. Now here we have completed the external factors. Let us start with the internal factor. First one is water content. Means what is the water content in the plant body, it will also affect the rate of transpiration, because more the water will be absorbed by the plant body, it will leads to more of transpiration. So here we can see that in this diagram, if there is an abundance of water in the soil, then the plant will absorb more water and it will evaporate more water through the transpiration. And when there is a shortage of water or limited water is present in soil, then what will happen? There will be less absorption, and then the stomatas will get flaccid and they will remain closed. And as a result, there will be no loss of water through the transpiration. And this is the only reason why the leaves of many plants will wilt during the daytime. Because in summer seasons, when the rate of transpiration is higher than the rate of absorption of water, then it will lead to wilting in those plants. Next factor is leaf area. If the surface of leaf will be bigger, then as a result, obviously the number of stomatas will be more, and from that area more water will be transpired out. So it is also directly proportional. Number of leaves and number of stomatas, it is also directly proportional, because if the number of leaves are more, if the stomatas are more, then it will leads to more transpiration. Now the next is cuticular thickness. Cuticle is that waxy coating over the layer of epidermis. So that cuticle is generally impermeable to water vapor and it will reduce the rate of transpiration. But we have studied that cuticular transpiration is also a type of transpiration. So how it will happen? Wherever that cuticle waxy coating is thin or it is having any breakage in there, then from that reason the transpiration will occur, but in a very less percentage. So here we have completed our both external and internal factors which will affect the rate of transpiration. And let's start with the significance of transpiration. Means why for plant it is needed to do transpiration. Transpiration will leads to ascent of sap. I think you all know what is cell sap. That is that watery fluid inside the vacuole of every cell containing water plus mineral. So that ascent of sap means the movement of water plus mineral towards the upward direction from the roots to the leaves. In this ascent of sap, many forces will act together, and from those forces, transpiration pull is also one of the major force. So let us see here, when the water molecule will be absorbed by root, first of all, that root pressure will be exerted due to that osmosis, and then that root pressure will move the water molecule little bit upward. Then here the xylem tubes, they are very thin and there will be a capillary force in those xylem, and as a result of that capillary action, a little bit more water will move upward, and then here the water will be lost due to transpiration, and that water loss will create a suction force. एक खिंचाव आएगा यहाँ पे, and due to that suction force also, that water molecules will move more towards the upper side. And the last force is that cohesion and adhesion forces between the hydrogen bonds of water molecule, that will also act here, and as a result the water will move upward up to the tip of the leaves. And with that ascent of sap, even the mineral salts will also get distributed over the whole body with that water. Next important significance of transpiration is that it will remove the excess of water. Anyhow, if the plant will absorb a lot of water, then it will leads to dilution of that sap, which is not good for plant. So that excess of water will be removed through the process of transpiration. And the next is cooling effect. Just like we are doing sweating for equalize our temperature of body, the plant will also do more transpiration in summers to cope up with that increased temperature, which will give the cooling effect in plant body. So these all are the significance of transpiration. Now the next is some other physiological process which might look like transpiration, but they are not. That is guttation and bleeding. So sometimes at early in the morning you might have seen some water droplets on the surface of leaf. These are due to the guttation. What is guttation? That is the loss of water in the form of water droplet from the margin of the leaves of certain plants during hot and humid condition. And that water will exude out due to the structures present on the leaves which are called as hydrathoids. And why it will happen? Suppose sometime in hot and humid condition, in some of the plant species, when the rate of transpiration is low but the rate of absorption in roots will be high, then these plants will keep on accumulating mineral and absorb water. Then this more water will enter the leaves, and as a result that excess of water will be forced out through these structures called as hydrathoids. So this hydrathoids is this guttation is very different from the transpiration, because in transpiration the water will be lost in the form of water vapor, and here the water will be lost in the form of water droplets. Where there the water will be lost through the stomatas, and here this structure is called as hydrathoids. Transpiration will occur at daytime, and at night the transpiration will be stopped, but guttation will occur at night or in the early morning. So this process is totally different from the transpiration. Next is bleeding. What is bleeding? Suppose anyhow if the plant will get injured, then that plant sap will escape out or bleed out from that injured portion, and that is called as bleeding. So this process will occur only when the plant will get injured. So it is the process in which the sap will oozes out through the injured or cut part, and this is also due to the pressure exerted by the roots. So here our chapter is over, and now please go through the whole chapter and ask me if you have any doubts or any questions, and please solve all the questions given in your book exercise. Thank you so much.